Good morning or good afternoon. This is Miss McDowell, and we're going to read a story called Frederick. Before we read the story, let's talk about the different parts of the book. Who remembers what that part of the book is called? Yeah, you're right. It's called the spine. It holds the pages together so the pages don't fall all over the place. What part of the book do we have here? Yes, that's right. That's the back of the book. Now we're back to the what? The front of the book. Yes, the title is Frederick. The author is Leo Leone, and he wrote the words that I'm going to read to you today. This book, as you notice, is a Caldecott Honor book. It was a prestigious book that won an award. It's about a mouse and his family. The publisher is Dragonfly Books. That's who published the book. There's our title page, Frederick, Leo Leone, the author, and the publisher, Dragonfly Books. Now, as we read this story about a mouse and his family, I want you to think about some things that might happen in real life and some things that would be make-believe or fantasy. Think about the way the animals look, how they walk. Do they talk or chatter? Do the animals wear clothes? Compare the mice in the story, to what those animals look like in real life. At the end of the story, we'll talk about it. Okay, let's turn to our first page. And we'll begin reading. All along the meadow where the cows grazed and the horses ran, there was an old stone wall. In that wall, not far from the barn and the granary, a chatty family of field mice had their home. Chatty means to talk a lot. Look at those mice. Do they look like mice in real life? But the farmer had moved away, and the barn was abandoned, and the granary stood empty. And since winter was not far away or far off, the little mice began to gather corn, nuts, wheat, and straw. They all worked day and night, all except Frederick. Look how those mice are standing up, how they're carrying their food. Is that how they would look in real life? Frederick, why don't you work? They asked. I do work, said Frederick. I gather sun rays for the cold, dark winter days. Is he working like the rest of them? Again, think of things that are make-believe in the story. And when they saw Frederick sitting there, staring at the meadow, they said, And now, Frederick. I gather colors, answered Frederick simply, for the winter is gray. And once, Frederick seemed half asleep. Are you dreaming, Frederick? They asked him reproachfully. But Frederick said, Oh no, I'm gathering words. For the winter days are long and many, and we'll run out of things to say. How do you think his brothers and sisters feel about him not working? Or is he working? The winter days came, and the first snow fell. The 5 little field mice took their hideout into the stones. Here's the snow falling, the stones, the mice going into their hideout? In the beginning, there was lots to eat, and the mice told stories of foolish foxes and silly cats. They were a happy family. What made them happy? Was everybody happy? What on that page was real life? And little by little, they had nibbled up most of the nuts and berries. The straw was gone, and the corn was only a memory. It was cold in the wall, and no one felt like chatting. Remember, chatting means to talk a lot. Do they look happy? And then they remembered what Frederick had said about the sun rays and the colors and words. What about your supplies, Frederick? They asked. Anything in real life there about the mice? Close your eyes, said Frederick as he climbed on a big stone. Now I send you the rays of the sun. Do you feel how they're golden glow? And as Frederick spoke of the sun, the 4 little mice began to feel warmer. Was it Frederick's voice? Was it magic? Can mice talk? Can that happen in real life? That might be something that would be fantasy. And how about those colors, Frederick? They asked anxiously. Close your eyes again, Frederick said. And when he told them of the blue periwinkles, the red poppies and the yellow wheat, and the green leaves of the berry bush, they saw the colors as clearly as if they had been painted in their minds. So here are the mice. Frederick is telling them the words, and this is the picture that comes in their mind. Can mice really do that? And the words, Frederick. Frederick cleared his throat, waited a moment, and then, as if from a stage, he said, Who scatters snowflakes? Who melts the ice? Who spoils the weather? Who makes it nice? Who grows the 4-leaf clovers in June? Who dims the daylight? Who lights the moon? 4 little field mice who live in the sky. 4 little field mice like you and I. One is the spring mouse who turns on the showers. Then comes the summer who paints in the flowers. The fall mouse is next with walnuts and wheat. And winter is last with little cold feet. Aren't we lucky the seasons are 4? Think of a year with 1 less or 1 more. Now what's make-believe on that page, the illustrations? When Frederick had finished, they all applauded. That means the mice clapped. But Frederick, they said, you are a poet. A poet is someone who writes poems, just like the one he had right here. Frederick blushed and took a bow and said shyly, I know it. The end. So go back and think. What were some of the things that mice can't do in real life? Something that was make-believe or fantasy. Think about how they stand up, just like in this picture. Can mice do that? Can they talk? Can they chatter? Do they wear clothes? Can they think like the paintings in the picture? Have a great day. Thanks for listening.